Hey kids, welcome to the show. Mark Miller here. Let's kind of get you oriented in terms of what we're going to talk about today, what we're going to work on. Yesterday we worked on the inventory, and I kind of want to just sidestep that just for a bit. Today I want to work on OBS scene control, and specifically it's occurred to me that there are a number of effects in D&D, in the D&D game, that can be enhanced by better control over the scenes. And for example, Little Cutie's got a spell called Casting Invisibility. I want to enhance it in a couple ways. One is I want to establish a min target count that needs to be satisfied before the spell can be cast. Like that. I also, once we've got targets, I want to make the targets invisible, essentially, partially visible, like that. So to give you an example of that, inside OBS, there is a, I can bring up filters, and here are the filters that we have right here for my my scene, or my video feed called Mark Cam. And do I have invisible in here? I don't, but I can make one. So let's make a new one. We're going to call it color correction, and I'm starting everything that's going to be in a filter that I want to have control over with a DH here. So it's going to be DH invisible. Like that. And then all I have to do is just drag opacity down a little bit like this. And there you can see what's happening to me here, you know, as I make both of those changes. So the idea is that we turn this off and then turn it on programmatically in response to a spell being cast, like that. And then when the spell is done, we would then turn it off. And we would do this for each character. That's what we would do. So that's kind of the idea. I also have like this petrified effect here, spotlight effect, which I thought would be kind of cool if we're sneaking around. Going through the portal, scan lines, maybe dramatic lighting, not sure about that one. There's another one here that I did before, shade of blue, which is just a kind of a, it's more of a hue shift is what it is. But there's an effect that happens at some point in time where I turn blue. And so let's do that. Turn the shade of blue. Let's put these all at the end. So that's one of the things I want to play with, is this idea of selectively turning on, enabling and disabling filters. For the players, that means we need each player needs to be able to specify, maybe just say must specify, their video feed, the name of the video feed. Okay, So that's kind of a change to the data. All right, so turning blue is part of this as well. I just added this dh.blue. And up here, we're going to have one called dh.invisible. Filter. So the idea is we go from the player to the video feed, and then looking specifically for a filter. Now, you know, as we tend to do on this show, I ski off the edge of the cliff without checking it out or looking down below. So I have no idea if OBS is going to let me do this or not. I presume the API is going to be cordial and inviting enough to let me do this, but I don't know. So I've called this today's show R&D. So we're going to try and figure that out. We also have a spell called enlarge reduce. And I think I want to put this on its own slide. Enlarge reduce. I want smooth scaling of the video feed. When a target player is enlarged or reduced. Also, here's where things get crazy. This is like a long-term goal. Just looking at the equipment to do this now. But long-term goal is pitch shifting the voices of players who are large or small. Okay? So smooth scaling means I want to be like, I want to grow like that. That's what I want to do. And I want this centered on the players, on the player in the video feed. That means we need something similar to this. Each player must specify their center point, their horizontal center point in the video feed. Probably not only their horizontal center point, we'll just call it their anchor point in their video feed. The anchor point should be around the center of the chest, like right about there, so that we grow around that point or shrink around that point. That's what we're looking for. So we need the scaling. Yeah, so all of this means the scaling is anchored for each feed individually. And the long-term goal of pitch shifting the voices, I want this to be programmatically controlled. I'm going to reach out to Carl Franklin today, and I'm going to ask him about hardware that can do this, because the stuff I looked into didn't look programmatically controlled, and I want to be able to cast a spell, make somebody get bigger or smaller, and their voice changes as well, hopefully in a hysterical way. All right, so that's kind of what I'm looking at today. I want to look and start researching this. So first thing I'm going to do is let's go over to, I want to jump to the weather manager. It's got an OBS WebSocket that it creates. It's interesting. I didn't realize we were creating these all over the place. I'm wondering if that makes the most sense, or if we should just have a singleton WebSocket that everybody uses. Let's ask that question somewhere. So we know we've got a set current scene. Let's see what else we have in here. Anything with the word filter in it. That's what I'm hoping to find. We've got add filter to source. What else do I have? Filter, reorder, set source filter visibility. Sweet! That's exactly what I need. Okay, that is awesome. Okay. Let's go look at in our Stream Deck commands. Somewhere in here, I probably have a set scene or play scene. Uh-oh. Look out, everybody. Look out, Brad. Hold your breath. Come on, Pudding. Always coming in like that, every time. My show's exactly what you need. Oh, Pudding joined us last night for another episode of Dragon Humpers. Kids, if you're interested in Dungeons and Dragons, it's a little crazy, a little racy, but you can go follow us over there, twitch.tv/dragonhumpers. Feel like we're starting to get our groove on that show a little bit. Okay, so set current scene, play scene. Let's call them this. This is in the OBS manager, play scene handler. This is probably in response. No, this is a timer tick, it looks like. Okay, let's go back. I have a feeling I kind of got in the wrong spot. Set current scene. Oh, it's the only one. Okay, so play scene. Who's calling that? Play scene function, request play scene. Play scene function, request play scene. Boom. Here it is right here. So I want to create a new class in here. Looks like we're running. I'm going to shut down that app. And so we're going to say, we're going to call this the set scene visibility function, like that. It's going to take some parameters. These parameters are for our IntelliSense. These attributes are set up our IntelliSense. Sets visibility, not scene visibility, scene filter. For the specified filter in the specified scene. The name of the scene. No, wait, hold on. What is the, let's go back over. Set, wait, this is our OBS manager, and this is our class. OBS WebSocket is what I'm looking for. Hold on. Okay, set filter. Let's kind of look at what else we have here. Oops, hold on. Let's do this. Let's type in filter first. Get the one we want. Set source filter visibility. We need 3 parameters: source name, filter name, and whether it's enabled or not. Okay. Okay. So we've exposed that. I'm just curious to see what other kinds of things we've got inside of WebSocket here. What can we play with? Current scene info along with its items. Take a look at this. Items, a list of scene items. I'm just playing around here. Scene item, it's got a height property, a width, an X position, a Y position. This could allow us to scale it. There's no access to the transforms. One of the things that the, each element has, at least nothing I'm finding yet. Let's go back and look at my webcam and say, where is it? Transform, edit, transform. So if I right-click my webcam and edit it, I've got these values here: position, rotation. So presumably I should be able to change this without changing the others. And let's change that to like a 5. Interesting. I would think that that would spin me around. Uh-oh. Now we got trouble. We got trouble because we just changed our position up above. Now it kind of seemed to change back, and there's no cancel. And the reset is horrific in terms of what it's going to do. I don't want it to do anything. I was expecting that to make some changes here. So if I do this, that doesn't, so the transform in each item, maybe that's it. Let me try something here. I'm going to turn on that webcam. So I turn on the webcam, I don't see it. Oh, I see, because the piece that's in it is hidden. Let's move this a second. Now we should see it. There it is. Nice. Nice. So that filter, when I edit this transform, now we should be able to see everything working out here. And now I'm way up over there. There we go. Whoa, that's a lot of mark. Jetsam, how you doing? It's a lot of mark, you're right. What was I doing here? Let's go back to where we were, right there. So I can, cool, as I drag it, I'm using the mouse to kind of drag this around. But the idea is, imagine if I could scale, like up or down, but keeping anchored on a particular point. I could certainly do that programmatically, right? I could do that, this kind of thing for an enlarge reduce spell. I could make those kinds of changes just by modifying these. So I need to be able to find the scene item transform, and they're independent of each other. So if I right click on an item in one scene and change edit its transform, it's different from those in another scene, which is perfect. That's exactly what I want. So let me close that down. Let me take that version of Mark. There it is right there. Put it back where we can't see it. All All right, so we're looking for the scene, the transform. Can I get it here? No. Okay, let's see if I can get. Could it be in the current scene? Maybe not. Why is there Murky Jr. on the screen? Okay, yeah, so this is kind of weird. The scene item does not seem to have anything to give me access to the transform. I have kind of pieces where I can play with. I've got a width, an exposition, and a height. Hold on. Oh, those are properties, those are fields. Okay. Yeah, I have these options here. So I imagine I can make changes to them. And that's how I could do it. So we'll have to do a test in terms of messing with a particular scene. Can I get a scene by name? Got a get scene list. Current scene scenes. Am I calling this already anywhere else in here? I'm interested in that. Okay, only there. So presumably I could then do this, scenes dot first to default. Looking for a scene name, like that. Nope, not what I wanted to do. So I guess I'm looking for something like this. A method that returns a scene item. Get scene item. Whoa, do I already have get scene item? Check that out. No? It suggested it to me like it was there, but I'm not sure how I figured that out. Oh, because I said I already wanted to return a scene item. Is that what it was? Okay. All right. So get scene item. Then we're going to say we're going to pass in a scene source name. And we're going to pass in an item name. Like that. And then it's going to go like this. It's going to go get the scene list. I think what's wrong here? Let me comment this out right here. And what is my problem here? Oh. The wrong line of code. Let's return this. Okay, so I guess that's the code right there. Get scene item. So that'll give us a scene item based on a particular scene name and item name, which means then we could go find like marked cam and make a change to it. I'm like really inclined to just write some test code to actually try to do that, to like move something over, play with it over time, that sort of thing. We've just added set filter visibility. I want to go back to the placing function, finish our work here. Set scene filter visibility takes 3 parameters. These 3. So we've got source name, filter name, and filter enabled. The name of the source in OBS. The name of the filter to set visibility for. That's required. And then the last parameter is Boolean value true to show. Maybe do this. True to show, false to hide. Cool. Set visibility, set filter visibility function. Cool. We need a couple other things down inside of here. We need it to descend from the function. And I'm in the right spot. I just want to make sure. Placing function, placing command. Yeah, I was in a different spot than I thought I was. I still have to do this work. This is for adding to our C# language parser, so we'll be able to make a call in there. So we definitely need this, but we also need to create a Stream Deck button so we can at least trigger something or test it out in some way. Okay, we need a name. We need to override of the evaluate, and that's it. Don't need a constructor. Now let's move this. Move this down inside here. Let's do a return null there. Let's move this to its own file. All right. How's everything going over there, Pudding, in Peru, right? How's the weather? Okay. So now we need to there's a call out here called expecting arguments. We can say how many arguments we're expecting, make sure those are all good. Why is that not happy? Oh, the args. And then down here we can say the source name. We're going to pass in args of 0. Okay, so that's my source name. The next one is my filter name. And then my last one is filter enabled. It's going to be get bool. Okay, good. So now we have some data. Next, I want to create I want to trigger an event when this is requested so that we can kind of bubble up out to the main app and then handle the request. So we can then go find the source, the filter, and turn it on or off. So to do that, I'm going to create an event args class that's going to be, we're going to call this scene filter, I think, event args. The OBS scene filter event args. And it's going to have some properties here. We'll create an auto implement property called source name. We'll create another one called filter name. And then we'll create something else called filter enabled. And we'll make that a Boolean. Like that. Okay, so let's create a constructor for it. Coder's template CC right here. Select all. It's just going to build us that. Hook all the properties up. Real easy to do. And don't need that. And so those are our event args. Let's rename this. Let's add the word event args at the end. So there we go. We've got our OBS scene filter event args. Since those are event args, I kind of want to put those in a place where I've got all my event args together, which is right up here. Put all my event args there. Let's just cut this to the clipboard, and let's open up one of these, paste it, and then use move type to file. I find that trick, cut it to the clipboard, go to a file that's already in the folder where I want it to be, is faster than putting it here and trying to drag it and drop it in there. It just takes less time, less cognitive effort. Okay, so we've got our event args there. I wonder if I'm thinking of a feature. So we're dogfooding Coderous here, kids, 5 days a week. And sometimes I think of things while we're working, and I'm going to consider this. Yeah, I think we're going to do it. Okay, devs, here's the feature request. The feature request looks like this. If I do a move type to file, that I can specify for on the project base, but based on the file name, that it could pick a particular folder. Do I really want to do this? I'm now thinking I'm going to back away from it. I want to give this some thought before I make this request. But like in this case, event args, I definitely wanted to put them out there. All right, so I will not finish up that issue start. We'll just do another one later if we have to do that. Okay, so let's go to our delegates. Let's create a new delegate. It's going to be the OBS scene filter event handler, and it's going to be taking in the OBS scene filter event args. That's our event. Now we're going to go back here, and we want to create a static event of that type. So I'm going to use an uppercase letter E for static event, and this is going to be that. And we're going to call this something like, the event's going to be called request OBS scene filter, set OBS scene filter visibility. That's going to be the name of the event. So when this is fired, that means we're requesting that somebody sets that visibility for us. And so now when I get down to here, I filled in all those pieces. I simply want to just call on request that. think it's going to be a null sender. We're going to create a new event args, and we're going to pass in the source name, filter name. Hold on. Now I do have a feature request. Now let's do it again. All right, devs, feature request for you here. I am here. Hold on, can I scroll that up? Here we go. I am about to hit the open paren. The open paren for OBS scene filter event args. And watch this, when I do this, right, we get the tooltip. The tooltip says the first parameter should be source name. The second should be filter name, and the third should be filter enabled. There are no overloads. This must take 3 parameters, right? It must. And look up here. I have parameters with the exact same names, filter name and filter enabled. What I want is for CodeRush to pre-fill these out for me after I type that open paren. When it sees this situation, type them out like this, but make them, all 3 of these, make them fields. So I can change them if I want to. But if I've got these right up here, and if I have something else that's maybe close, like a fuzzy match, like maybe find that. If it's the right type and a fuzzy match, just do that. I think that the chances that we're going to give people what they want are high, and if we don't, because they're all text fields, it is easy to change. And we only do it if we know exactly how many parameters there are going to be. Or if we know there have to be at least this many parameters, something like that. That's what I'm thinking. At least in this scenario, having all of these here pre-filled would have been really nice. Okay, so let me just do a feature request. When open paren, press to essentially for method call, pre-fill the params intelligently. Try to get there. That's kind of what we're looking for. Okay, put that in. Thanks, devs. Okay, and that's it. And then we just return null because there's nothing going to come back from this call. Set scene filter visibility. So that's piece 1. Piece 2 is when am I going to call this? Do I want to backtrack? I think I want to just add a call, is what I want to do. I want to put a call in somewhere. Yeah, no, I think I'm going to do a, maybe I'll add a test command. All right, so test command is going to be presumably something followed by another group that does not need parens around it. Like that. Okay. Let's move this. We still have to hook that event. Let's register the test command. Okay, let's hook the event. Not the one I wanted to go to. That one right there. So now at this point, we want to go to our OBS manager and call set filter visibility. Pass in ea.source name, ea.filter name, and ea.filter enabled. Nice. Set a breakpoint there. And I think we can start. So look at so here, this is my source name, is my understanding. The filter name can be whatever we want to call in here. So I'm going to grab like DH blue and I'm going to try and turn it like that. That's my goal, is to be able to change that right there programmatically. Let's do. I want to do this. I want to put this up to spell effect. Let's do that. Let's try that. For example, chill touch. Let's try this. Set filter. Why don't I see this? Set. What do we call this? Filter. Set source. Set scene filter visibility. That's what we called it. The name of the source in OBS. We're going to call this Mark Cam. The name of the filter to set visibility for. DH dot. Oops. Got to fix this so it does not expand in strings. DH dot blue and true. Like that. So. When I cast this and preparation is complete on the spell, I should turn blue. So let's see if that works. Okay, we got a breakpoint. That's a good sign. Oh, look at that, kids. That worked.
Okay. 6 + 8, making contact. That is a hit.
So that is definitely something we can do.
11, necrotic damage.
All right, nice. Next, I need to get the names of all the players, and I need to set the filters so they all have those filters. Right now I only have those for my camera, Mark Cam, so we'll need to do that. We need to specify this name in the player database. Let's move to that step next. So we have that data inside of there. So let's bring up our players. Let's close everything down so you can see stuff. And I don't know, let's do it right here. There are a couple pieces I need. One of them, well, I guess we'll just add these one at a time. So we're going to call this the source name. Like that. And we know for my character, it is mark cam, like that. And we have a few others that I can actually set right now here. And Cutie, it's called Karen's webcam. Oops, I get that in the wrong spot. Nope, it looks like we're good. For Lady, it's called NDI Lady. Sandra. And then Fred, we haven't worked on Fred, but Fred should have the same kinds of issues. Let's take a look at this, see if we got this. Here, this is Fred. Does that work? It does. You can make Fred invisible as well. Sweet. Okay, that's super cool. So Fred is just Fred normal, is what that is. Fred's got two sources though, when he rages and when he doesn't. So Fred is, that's a little bit, I wonder if I'm going to semicolon, put these in here. I might do that. I might support semicolons right here. So we can have multiple sources and we just go impact all of them at once. I think the other source's name is Fred Rage, so let's do that. So we've been able to handle all those possibilities. All right, cool, we've added source name to players. Now what we need to do, let's do another thing here, just so that this is easy. So I want to say the name of the OBS source associated with this player used to impact visibility and other live video effects on the player. Cool. All right. Let's look at the invisibility spell for a second. I think it might have been called, well, let's do this. Invisibility. Greater invisibility. Okay, I'm thinking about targeting, and I've kind of got this code for how we're setting up the targets here. I've documented the code here, that what's going on here, so that at some point in the future I could write something to parse this. I feel like I want to add another column called min targets to cast. So the minimum number of players or NPCs targeted before you cast, and then maybe a max as well. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. Let's do this. So we're going to call this targets to cast. It's like a prerequisite. The minimum being no. I'm going to actually change this. I'm going to add two fields here. Min targets to cast, and then one more, max targets to cast. Like that. Then we'll go down to invisibility again. Okay, so we're going to set one there and one there. So we can't do more than one. And, you know, presumably later these other pieces will be filled up. So let's go add these now to our spell DTO and get that all integrated. So we'll stop the app from running. Close this down. Probably should have changed the spell. Do it right here real quickly. ph.blue. There it is right there. We don't need that anymore. Yeah, I'm thinking the enlarge reduce along with a pitch shift, like I shrink down and my voice gets really high. It could be totally hilarious. So I'm looking for that. Okay, I wanted to go to find my spell DTO. Spell. Let's go find all known spells. All spells.spells. Spell DTO. I feel like I was looking for spell DTO and I didn't find it. Did I do something wrong with that? What are my options? Do I have something hidden? Oh, types. Interesting. Okay. All right, so we're going to get max targets to cast and min targets to cast. Okay. And target to cast. It's not on the clipboard. Come back to here. I just want to see where else. Nowhere else we're using it. Okay, cool. All right, so now we got min targets to cast, max target to cast. Those are going to default to 0 if not specified. And I think those are okay defaults. I'm thinking about adding a new attribute though. I've already got this column attribute. And I'm thinking really, really strongly here about creating a new one called default attribute, I think. where we specify default value. Like this, and let's see, we can use CodeRush to declare that as a property initializer. Cool. And what's wrong with my attributes usage here? Okay, good. All right, so let's move type to file. Now I want to use the default attribute up. Where are you? In spell. Here, I want to say default so that the idea is if nothing is specified in the spreadsheet, I want to specify what I want to set this to. And I want to do that. I want to set these to -1, both of these. Because I actually think if I say max targets to cast, I want to be able to specify 0. In other words, there can be no target selected. This is a lot of work for not a lot of feature, I'm wondering. Since I hit it, let's kind of continue. Let's kind of go down and explore this. Because today's kind of like an exploration day anyway. All right, so we're going to go down into Google Sheets. Somewhere in here we've got some defaults. Set defaults for empty cells. Here it is right here. We're getting the property on the type that we're working with. And I think what I want to do this. I want to do maybe not. Hold on. I think I want to do this. I want a something here called default value equals get default value. Like this. And get default value going to do this. Look for that, and we're going to return replace it with return space. Okay, and then we're looking for. It's faster for me to just come in and manually edit these and try to search for them. I'm going to have to pass in the property, it looks like. pass in only the property. Okay. Now. Let's get the custom attributes. It's going to be our default attribute. And we do this. I just want, actually, this went first. Nope, can't do that there. Yeah, that's what I want to do. So I can't do that with another group, or can I? Now that I have the word first here. Now it seems like it's okay. Okay. So here we're going to return that. Well, not, I'm sorry. That's going to go, this is going to go inside get default value right here. So we'll do this. We'll get a custom attribute on it, get the first one. If it's not null, then we will return its default value, whatever's been specified. So let's set a breakpoint here to make sure we're actually hitting that. Back over here, we simply need one line of code, I think, that's just going to do this. That looks good to me. Okay, not too hard to get that done, and I think it's going to work. Okay, now I want to use these when we go to cast the spell. This is something I've been thinking, I thought about before, but I haven't really thought about it a lot. So, the idea is spell casting validation. So there's, you know, check the criteria before we cast the spell. If there are warnings, show them. If we push through the warnings, in other words, try to cast the spell again. Let it go. Fire it. I mean, then cast the spell. Then we cast. If there are errors, show them. No way to push through. So an example of warning that we can push through. bliss only targets 2 players, but you can target 3. You can target more, so that's a warning. And then example of an error that would prevent us. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Another example, there's 2 examples of warnings actually, they're kind of interesting. Your friendly spell targets an enemy. Or, you know, enemy spell targets a friendly. Examples of an error. Well, no target selected. We need at least 1. Too many targets selected. The part I'm not sure about, the part that I think is going to be tricky, I think this is going to be tricky, the warnings. This part right here. Then we cast. Because it's related to state. And we have to, it implies that we need to, we must track if we've already warned. Already given the same warning. We must intercept at the right spot. This is true of both warnings and errors. Before the roll. And there's UI implications as well. There's a stage where we've not cast the spell yet, but we're essentially showing our intention to cast the spell. You know, at that point, we could show warnings in some way. Once spell intention has been expressed. Hold on just a second, kids. Oh, no worries. Roy says he can't make it today. Hero of the show will not be able to make it. All right. I think this is a really good idea. To show warnings, errors somewhere on the screen. And I'm thinking about right across the top. Something to think about. So I want to kind of explore, I think, this a little bit, see if we can find the right spot, see if we can find those new fields, and see if we can check to see, you know, if we can get an error message up here. And I want to do that first before we start playing with, you know, actually having visibility go fire. I think the place to do that is, well, I was going to start with, what is it? Yeah, he's not coming. Did you hear me? Pudding, I don't know if you heard me. Yeah, he's not coming. I just talked to him. He's, someone came up, so he's not going to be able to make it. Got some late notice. What did I do? Hey, buddy. Oh, no. Hey, look at that guy over there. Oh, no. It's a gorgeous graphic. Among my favorite skits. So, seriously, roll the dice is happening just before the dice get out. He's called from only one place. It's called from Roll the Dice Now. I got a complete cast right here. Roll the Dice Now is coming from Roll the Dice. So he says, what are you talking about? That's precision flying to hit an iceberg at space flight speeds. For the flying skills. Come on, Pudding. Also, he's not trying to hit the entire iceberg. He's trying to only hit the tip of the iceberg. It's much smaller. Gotta give him the props. Roll the dice. Coming from a number of places. So I'm kind of feeling like this is the spot to intercept. That's the place. Let's set a breakpoint here. Let's run. Oh my gosh, Pudding. I don't know the answer to that question. But I know the feeling when you know the phrase, some idiot blank devs. I got that. I've had that experience. Of course, I'm trying my best not to be an idiot. If you think about it, flying is just aiming at the ground and missing. It's true, Frackbird. Okay, I got a problem here. Player's null. What creature events? Initialize newly added creature. Add creature. Got a new bug. Wasn't expecting. These look real. Oh, but it's the creature's creature piece. Is this... Let's just do this. And let's see if we can step into this here. Come back up to here. No. Let's get down here. Can't unwind, can't set the call stack. All right, fine. Try again. I feel like some data's been messed up. Flying is like floating, but with more control. Hey, one of my really memorable moments when I was at Air Force Academy was flying in a glider. It's amazing experience. It's like, it sounds a lot like flying on a boat, but there's no water. But the same kinds of sounds as when you're sailing on a boat, like the wind and the mechanics kind of under strain. Same kind of thing. Very cool. All right. I kind of want to say, I guess I want to get a breakpoint here, conditional breakpoint. It says, hey, if monster is null, what's my kind? Guard. I think this is the problem. I don't have a kind named guard anymore. It looks like some data has been messed with here. go take a look, see if we can find it. I've always wanted to try glider. I really wanted to get my rotary wing license, but couldn't afford it. Well, one day, Frackberg, one day that may change. And is, just so I understand, is a rotary wing license, does that mean a prop-powered plane? Propeller-powered plane? Or is that something different? What's a rotary wing license? I'd like to try to bungee. Oh my gosh, not me. I've got too many stories of bungee breaking. And the count on those stories is 1, and 1 is too many. Not at the rate my kids spend my money. Oh, it's helicopter. I didn't know that, Berg. You know, my dad used to be president of Boeing Aerospace, and he was like an engineer for like his whole life, worked his way up. But he said to me, he's not with us anymore, but he said to me once when we were talking about helicopters, he goes, "Well, you don't want to get on one of those. Those things aren't safe." So he spent his whole life making airplanes, and his contention was that helicopters were not safe. Now, since then, I've asked several people about, you know, how do you handle this situation in a helicopter? And apparently, the blades are spinning fast enough that if you lose power, you're able to take that momentum of the blades and glide down on it and make essentially a controlled crash landing. So it's not as bad as suddenly just dropping from the sky. That's my understanding of it. Frackberg is so rich he has a spaceship and a helicopter. One day, sir, one day. What do you mean they're not safe? Do you know how to tell if a helicopter is crashing? It's in the air. Yeah, that's called auto-rotating, says Frackberg. Yeah, that's my understanding. By the way, I was in the UK like 30 years ago, I think, 25 years ago. And we were driving along with some friends. We go around a corner, and all of a sudden we see out in front of us, there's a helicopter in the air, and it's in a steep climb like this. It's just going really high. And then it does this. The helicopter is now upside down and now falling this way. And we are in the car, all three of us are screaming because it's like, what is going on? And then it's in a dive, right? It's not this far off the ground, right? When I say not this far, it's probably about like 12 stories up. If you imagine a 12-story building to 20 stories, somewhere in that space. It's probably about 20 stories up off the ground. And it's just in a dive. And then it pulls up like this, and then it keeps going. It's doing tricks. It's a military helicopter, and somebody is doing tricks in it. And I've never seen it before. I've never seen it at an air show or anything like that. And it was mind-blowing when I saw it. Yeah, most helicopters just explode in the movies anyway. That's why they're not safe. I love helicopters. They don't fly. They beat the air into submission. They fly, Frackberg. They got the wing on the top. They create the lift. Drones are the new thing these days. Yeah, I think the scariest thing in a helicopter is if your back rotor fails. That's like, I think, you know, because now you're like in a spin that's pretty much just accelerating as you're going down, I think. That's not good. I don't know how you get out of that problem. Lose that, you start spinning for no reason. Yeah. Well, it's a reason. Yeah, there were also some other inventions of helicopters that were kind of interesting. There was a helicopter that had blades on top that spun in opposite directions, so you wouldn't have that rotational problem. And then there's also helicopters with multiple top blades that solve that problem as well. Have you seen the helicopters with no rear rotor? They're wild. I think it might be what we're talking about, Frackberg, where I've got two rotors on the top that go in opposite directions. I think that may be what you're talking about. But what my reference on that is old. It's like 20 years old. So there might be, yeah, those are kind of better. So, yeah. That's kind of cool. All right, let's go figure out what's going on with our monsters. We've got no character called Guard in our monsters. And our, let's see, data in-game creatures is here. Someone in here is of type Guard. Yeah, well, that's pretty clearly set there as a Guard. Let's go look at my monsters. Well, not there. I want to go to my monsters. That's over here. See if we got a card here. I do have a guard. So why am I not getting it? Local police used to have one single rotor up on top. It's okay, 20 years isn't enough to make a big change in mechanical technology unless it's materials. So I get really nerdy over aircraft in general, and that's no worries. My buddy Richard Campbell does the same thing. Program with 10% writing code and 90% understand why it's not working. Fair. Holy cow, that's a long link, but it kind of summarizes what we do here. Link gore. Okay, so the question now at hand is, why isn't it finding a guard? Why is that failing? This all looks good. I guess we start again and try to figure it out. Okay, why? Kind is guard, all monsters. Let's go jump in here again. I got 0 monsters. Why do I have 0 monsters? Checking my internet. Do you guys hear me? Because I'm like, what? One explanation would be monsters is not, it's just got 0 in it. I'm gonna just call load data and see what happens. 0. Is that my new change? This might be my new change with the default value piece in there. There's some little dance move that goes in here and converts one thing to a doc name, D&D tab. Oh shoot, that's the call that I think already messed up. I'm gonna come back in here and do that again. All right, there we go. There's my list. Good, well I got the data. That's good, I think it's my new change. Okay, so let's just run past that. And now here's what we're going to call new item. I think my problem is inside new item. I think we've got a problem here. Right, so there's my D&D core monster going into transfer values. Sure smells like this is my problem. That's all good. Where do I get to my set default value? Set defaults for empty cells here. So I've got an instance. Cool. For each property. Ooh, got an exception. Sequence contains no elements. Where was I? What happened? Let's see if I can come back here again. Nope. Down to call load data again. Okay. No problem here. No, it's down here. Get default value of property. That was the line. Wait, what was it? It said sequence, the exception was, what was it? Sequence contains no elements. It's because we're calling first in it? Okay. All right, so that was my enthusiasm of trying to get it to a shorter line of code. So let's set a breakpoint here. Let's run and come back in one more time. Load the data. Get inside, get inside, get inside. All right, here we go. Yeah, of course. I'm trying to call null on that, I guess, but let's do this. Switch off so I can look at the code. Okay, if there are any out there, then we've got my default attribute there. What's the problem here, though? Oh, I haven't set it to null here. That. Okay, so if default attribute is not null, we're going to go there. So I think that's going to be a little nicer. Let's see if we work with this. All right, I think that's better. Okay, let's get our way out of here. Monster is not null. Okay. Okay, so my data, although looking here, we seem to have a problem, but this could be from exceptions hit before we got here. Let's try again, another start. Let's use edit and continue to fix that. All right, that looks better. Go to monsters, we see the monsters. Sweet. Spells, we see the spells. Cool. Just lost internet, kids. We left and we're back. Let's go ahead and run it. Let's see how we're doing. There we go. Looks like we might. Did we lose control or not? We do not appear to have lost control, so that's good. Got roll the dice. So let's hit greater invisibility for little cutie. Now let's hit cast spell. Wow. Oh, because there's no die roll. There's no die roll. So we got to hook it in another place, I think. Okay. There's this call to complete cast. Let's see where that's going. Only called from roll the dice now. Cast a spell needing completion. Cast action spell. Let's set a breakpoint here and see what happens when we get here. First we get crashes, then lady isn't available for DH, then we get more crashes. God, what else do you want from me? Yeah, lady had an incredible story. She lives up in a cabin that's totally off the grid, generates its own electricity, all of that. And in California, they had several days of cloudy weather that rendered their power supply down to 0. And then their generator fell down the mountain, is what I hear. And so she wasn't able to, she was out of power and not able to make it last night. Okay. So let's try this out again one more time. Little cutie, greater invisibility, go. Cast action spell. What's interesting is down here, we've already started it. So this is way too late, it seems. Way too late. Cast spell now. Great spell shortcut. I'm feeling the cast spell now might be a good interesting place to do this. Let's see if that works for us. Little cutie, spells, greater visibility, go. Already? What? Like, is it here? I'm not feeling so good about that. Let's see, let's set a breakpoint there. Let's advance the clock for 10 minutes. Try it again. Great invisibility, go. Okay, now we're better. Oh, look at this. I've got a way to validate it, apparently. Already I wrote something. That's great news. So let's run it. And let's explore this code. In a second, I want to... Okay, I want to take a look at that. Declare spell cast state. Force repeat, concentrating, validation. So here's the casted spell validation has failed. Spell.trigger validate. I am not liking I don't like this. That's what I think. I think I don't like it. So trigger validate. So that means out in our spells over here. We have a validate on. All right, I'm just texting our internet guy to see what's going on. Why do I just lost it again? Okay, so on validate right up here. Validation failed. Stop spellcasting if the target count matches the specified value during the specified comparison operation. I'm not even sure what that means. The text is send to the DM. Performance is slow. All right, let's see what happens here. Validation failed test. Let's try casting it. Nothing seems to be happening when I'm hitting the buttons. That could be the internet dying. It did that to me. It's super slow. Just clicked it. Greater invisibility. Maybe it's not there. Please pay for the internet bills. Yeah, well, let's see what happens. I don't know what's going on, but we've got a lot of others dropping in the last 2 days. There it is. We'll cast from here. Nope, it seems like that's good. Didn't have any effect, it appears. We're going to look up validation failed and see what's going on with that. Because it's description doesn't seem to match what I imagine his behavior is going to be. Oh, I see. So we didn't have enough arguments. That's probably why it didn't work as expected. This hint is not good. I want to see if I've got any calls to validation failed already. Ooh, I do. In Dragon's Breath. Yeah. Here's what's kind of going here. This is kind of what I'm thinking about doing, but I'm kind of thinking instead of having each spell do its own validation in terms of target counts, have those use those two properties. Yeah. Let me copy all of this. All right. So I think we're close. I think we're in kind of the right spot here. Trigger validate, and then we're going to return validation failed or not. So that's presumably set in that function. Where's that set? Maybe not. Validation failing. It's triggering this. It's in validation right there. Where's my trigger on validation failed? Comes from here. Okay, good. So architecturally that looks good and okay. I just want to have, better handling. And I think I want to return more than a bool here. Let's do this. Call this all good. Right here. No. Validation action. Good. So got a validation action, message to DM. Message over player. That's what I think I want to do. I want to return one of those. Do I need all good? I don't think I do. Validation action has an option which is none. And so this, I want to return that. No, if it's stop, then we're going to say return validation failed. Then we need something else that says, hey, if it's equal to warn, then I want to do something here. If it's the first time, kind of like this, if first warning, then we return. So another option, validation, yeah, we'll do that. And I wonder if I can stick it in casted spell. What do we get here? Can we trace when casted spell is built? There's one right here. Any other calls? No other calls. So that doesn't really help us putting it in casted spell. Could put it in player. I could do something like this. I could say player dot just warned about set that equal to casted spell dot spell. Like that. We do that down here. I think we'll do something like this. If just warned about is equal to null, or just say it's not equal to casted spell.spell. And we just warn about that. And then we need to set this to null at some point in time. Probably once we get past here. Like there. I think that can work. Jason, ignore this. Okay. If we haven't warned it about it already, then we get out. If we come back and we try a second time and it's the same spell and we're in the warning again, we're going to let it go. Okay, so now what we can do is we can set up a warning. How do I do this? Nothing with the word I'm looking for, like show error, validate. Do I have a validation? Show validation issue. Aha. That's what I want. Any other calls to that? Okay, so what I want is something like that here. So if we're warning, we're going to show that message here. Message over player. And we're going to tell the dungeon master validation result dot message to DM. Okay. Good. Now, if we're here, we want to also show a validation issue. This one's going to be not a warning, but a stop. And we're going to show the message over the player. And similarly, we want to tell the DM. We can simplify this. Now these two lines of code are the same. This reports validation. I'll put this down here too. Okay. So expel validation has failed. Now what we want to do is create a new validation result. So if validation failed, this field will be changed if we call that other method, what was it, the one we ran into, it's validation failed. So we call that, then this will be set to true, and so that we can respond appropriately. We can go in and say here that validation action is equal to validation action dot stop. I can do that. And then I want to return this. But what I also want to do, so I'm going to allow the events, the event handling code to spell validation like that. But I also want to come in and do the checks myself. I want to get the sense of the targets, the counts, how many people are targeted. And then we've got a breakpoint there. Let's run it and see if we can make those changes. So that greater invisibility will now prompt us if we don't have enough targets selected or if we have too many. Wait, sorry about that pudding. I missed that. I thought this was Lady's hypnotic bag of holding. What are we talking about? Breakpoint, and all of that is kind of right in the way. I think I can get rid of it using the chat room. No. That's not good. I think that means other things are broken in the chat room too. All right, so here we go. Let's take a look at this. When you casted spell. Spell.min targets to cast. What is that? 0? That should be 1. I'm not sure what I want to do with this yet, but that should definitely be 1 on the spell. Both come in 0. See if we figure out why. What happened? I think I know what's going on. I think we need to make this uppercase or make the other one lowercase. I think that we're reading directly in from the other piece, is what I think. So I think we need to make these lowercase right here. I think we're directly reading in not from the spell DTO, but directly from the spreadsheet into the spell object. That's what I think is happening. That's my theory. So what that means then is if I rename this to lowercase so it matches the header title, you might see a value that's not 0. Let's try that. All right, so let's see what we got here. Wait. Oh, I see. It was like, how did this get past the compiler? All right, what do we got now? Still 0. Did I forget to mark it with a column attribute? I did. Yeah. Still no 1. What? Do I even hit this line of code? I don't think we ever do anything from those DTOs there. That shouldn't happen. That's my expectation at this point, I think. The columns there. Looks like case sensitivity is not an issue, so we can rename that. Wonder if the spell is cloned at any point. If the spell is cloned and we don't have code to handle that, that could be causing this problem. Ooh, clone. I think that's my problem now. So stop it. Go back and rename these to uppercase and see how that works. All right, run. Cloning. Okay. We are loading from here. Let's set a conditional action on this. So we can find that. Got it. Cool. That's good news. Many targets to cast is greater than 1. So we want to make sure we have at least the minimum number of targets to cast. So I'm just going to run this. I'm noticing the target is null. I want to set a target and see if it's non-null, because if that doesn't happen, then that's kind of a problem. We'll go ahead and target me like that. And let's try advancing clock by about 10 minutes. Casting little cuties, greater visibility now. Do we see target is still null? So who's passing in null here? I think I need a call before we get here. I think a breakpoint there. Check on target. If target is null, then we add the targets. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. So if the target is null and casted spell dot min targets to cast is greater than 0, we're going to need to add some targets. That's what we're going to need to do. All right, so then we're going to say casted spell dot target is equal to we're creating new instances of targets here. We're after roll events. So this is kind of interesting because this code creates a target and adds creatures to it. Based on their ID. We kind of want something similar to this. Not quite the same, but similar. And I think it's going to look more like this. We're going to say if in-game creature dot targeted, then we're going to say, let's set line of code down here. Target.add creature. Copper Beauty's in the house. No fanfare. You know what that means, kids. When we lost internet, we lost, like this guy. We'll restart that. Should get internet back here. Should get fanfares back. Let's try that. Right, continuing to focus down here on the code. Why you do this to me, bot? Coding Girl is asking brownouts again. Actually, did not have brownouts. The internet just shut off twice. Just plain turned off. Got a new question. Don't put it to that. Okay, here we go. If the in-game creature is targeted, then we want to call target.add creature. That guy right there is what I want. Okay, so that takes care of in-game creature dot creature. So that's going to take care of adding the in-game targets to it. I now need to do the same thing, but I need to grab a player. It's just going to be a player. So we're going to go through all our in-game players. Now, I'm not sure if our for each player, I don't know if player has a property called is targeted. I don't think it does. No, there's no is targeted on player. That's not there. It's we hold this information elsewhere, and I forget where it is, but I'll find it soon. Pudding, isn't there a way for the bot to know when internet is gone and it's reconnected, so it can reconnect on its own and not be forced to restart or whatever? Yeah, I think there probably is a way to make it more robust. It looks like I need to restart the drone game. Let's do that too. Can we work on that? I feel like it's not going to be, my skill level is not going to be up to par on that. Do we have music playing or not? I don't think we have music playing. I think we have to shut this down. We can ask Roy for help. Yep, we could do that. But it just died. What just died? It was playing the music. Yeah, no, that's because I killed the, I reset it, but I think I need to restart this too. Yeah. And then do that. Yeah, so what my guess is, Pudding, is I need to set up error handling in both of these places. When the error occurs, then, you know, proactively go after trying to repair it. I've thought about it, but I kind of am not inclined to go in that space. Still music. No response back. I just restarted both of those pieces. Oh wait, I have support. I'm applying support now. Why no music? Music should totally work. There. It just started. Huh. I didn't really do anything that I know of. Okay, so now let's go up here and go through these. I think it's in our player stat managers where we track targeting for players. Player stats manager. Dot, having all players, there it is right there. This is a different thing. It's a creature stats. Now I want to say, hey, if creature stat's here, I think I'm going to find is targeted. There it is. So if creature stat is targeted, then I want to say, do this here. But the creature I got to get from its ID, I think. We'll go grab it from somewhere else. We're going to say all players dot get from ID. Creature stats dot player dot ID. Creature ID. I think that's what we're looking at. And now that will give us a target that's built up. Let's see if we can actually step through it. That looks like I'm missing. Okay. Set point there, set point there, set point there. All right, so we're getting one. We're going to add one creature to it, to the target. Well, we should have counted 0 on creatures. Did creature ID fail? Come back up here again. Maybe we put the carrot here. So we run from there. There we go. What's my creature ID? 2. Which should totally work. That worked. That's not no. Adding creature. Okay, cool. All right, sorry kids, we lost it again. Yeah, thanks for welcoming me back, kids. Wow. Yeah, I'm just sitting here just 4 times in a row, just shot out. I was like yesterday, I checked all the UPSs and everything is good. And so now I'm like, what's going on? All right, so now we're setting these up. The target is being set up if we're expecting to have some sort of minimum number of targets to cast. I almost want to say 4 max targets to cast is greater than 0. I think I want either one of these two. All right, so we still have breakpoints down below. All right, here's where I'm expecting this to get next. Okay. So min targets cast is greater than 0. I blame all the gooey pudding on the internet lines. That could be it, Copper Beardy. And we don't have a fanfare for you still. Oh, because we just lost a whole bunch of things. I got to restart everything again. That's why. Does that mean test close is going to fail? That's what it means. Let's restart. pieces again. Yeah, it makes me want to move to Valencia, Spain. All of a sudden, get some seriously good internet. That's what we're looking at going to next here. So let's go kill this. Start both of those up. Again. Okay, and let's reset this too. Let's reload all of these pieces. Gets quiet for a moment, and let's run. Okay, I feel like we're almost ready to write the code that we need to validate this. Cody Gorilla opting for 0 fanfares today. Yeah, I think if we get hit with one more of these, I'll just be like, I probably won't come back. That's my guess. Let's do it again. Let's get greater visibility, cast to spell. Cool. Now we're at min targets to cast is 1. What's in target now? I got to count at 0. Whoa, player IDs is null. Ah, we made a mistake. All right, let's get out of here. Add creature. Should have solved this. Should have added player IDs right there to it. But let's go step through this and figure out what's going on. Oh, I know why. Wait. Hold on. I didn't target anybody. This is entirely my fault. Let's target me a second here. And now let's try it again. Add a, there we go. Little cutie. Greater visibility. Cast a spell. Okay, now I bet I've got a count that's greater. No, what? Urgh. Player ID is still null. What is going on? Come back up here. Let's see, do we get here? We don't even get there. It's not showing a player as being targeted. Yeah, we totally should come down here. Players, we have 4 players. What am I guess? 2? Creature ID is 2, that's me. Am I targeted? I am. What's going on? Why aren't we getting there? We're just shooting right over it. Oh, I know why, because the target's not null anymore. Come back again. Now we're an add creature. Get from ID. Assume that's going to work. There it is. Creature's a player, true. If player ID is null, create a new one. Player ID is add. Okay, what's going on? Target count is now 1. That looks right. What's happening? Something just really weird. Count went to 0. Oh, I see the problem. Wow. That's what I just did. Okay. That sometimes happens, kids. I'm not paying attention. All right, so now we go through it, and now we got to count. No count. Oh, because hold on. So it's null. And go. There we go. Now we're gonna have a count of 1. Sweet. Okay, kids. That took way too long, didn't it? Now we're down in here. If min targets to cast is greater than 0, then we want to say if target.count is less than min targets to cast, we flat out cannot do it. And so we're going to say validation result dot validation action equals stop. Validation message over player. Sorry, yeah, give me one more of those, Pettigrew. Thank you. Come on. So the validation result message over the player is going to be need at least let's get some plural stuff going on here. I think that's equal to 1. We're going to say this. Otherwise, we're going to say that. Need at least this many. And this one is going to be spell.min targets to cast. Targets to cast this spell. To cast, not this spell, but let's say the spell name, which is going to be spell.name. And then here we're going to say, I hope the dogs are barking at somebody trying to take my internet. Need at least 1 target to cast that. Okay, so we're going to message over the player. That may be all we need. Oh, because we're good. So that one works because I'm targeted. Okay, cool. Let's untarget me. And let's advance the clock. Let's go back to little cutie. Cast it again. And now we should get a different result. Now we're below. Now we've got to stop. That looks better. Nice. The thing I like about this is it trains the players to think about targeting before they cast it. So that's great. So you or a creature you touch becomes invisible until the spell ends. So nice. We're getting closer here. Let's do one more thing. As long as we're talking about validation, let's target a couple of those, like that. And then let's try once again, we'll advance the clock, we'll try to cast the spell. There it is right there. Let's do the test close from the chat room. And now what I want to do is do kind of the other check on this. Target count is greater than max targets to cast. And this is going to be need at most can only have this many targets to cast this. We'll do the same thing here. Need can only target can only have one target to cast this spell. All right, so we should get down in here is where we should get. Target to cast greater invisibility. I'm going to say 4. I'm going to just rename this to 4 greater invisibility. And it have and only have. Okay, that's cool. So we've got some cool validation in here. So one more time, hopefully without breakpoints. See how this works. So casting spell. I do want to have some of the breakpoints because I want to redo the text. I'll do one other thing so I can test this really quickly. You take the clock advance, do that, put it on little cuties page here, just for temporarily so I can advance it and get rid of it. Okay, so one more time. Greater invisibility cast spell. I just wanted the breakpoint so we could recompile that. Only one target for greater invisibility. Good. Only one target is allowed for greater invisibility. I think this is better too. So there's only blank targets allowed for this spell. Okay. Okay. One more breakpoint, just get those compiled. This is in there. Okay. All right, good. Nice. All right, let's take 1, 2, 3, get rid of those guys. Just targeting me, and let's do it one more time. Shooting spells. Nice. So now greater invisibility has been cast. Now what I want to do is make me invisible in response to that. That's what I'm looking for. So let's hide this. Let's see if we can get there. How quickly can we get there? I'm kind of looking for a connection . I think I'm looking for an on-cast event handler is what I'm looking for. And I think it's going to be set scene filter visibility, the name of the source. This has got to come from the player. Yeah, hold on. I need to look at Give Magic and see how that's working, how that's currently being used inside of here. Let's go do a search for Give Magic. On target field, save. We've got one Give Magic called there. On cast, Give Magic to friendly targets. Where's friendly targets? What's going on with friendly targets? Also, I've got a to-do here. I need to do add warnings if more targets are available. Friendly targets. So I can give magic to a target is what I can do. All right, so here's what I think is going to happen in greater invisibility. On cast, greater invisibility, we're going to call give magic to, I believe, spell underscore target. Like that. That might work. And the name of the magic to give is, we're going to say, greater invisibility, which doesn't exist yet, but maybe we just call it invisibility. Maybe have an additional parameter for how long it will last, but that's it's kind of connected to the spell, though, doesn't it? I'm feeling like I'm gonna end the show because I'm hitting a couple branches in terms of implementation, and I want to give it some thought before we go down a particular path here. Magic itself doesn't seem sufficient because while magic can have its own duration in life and events that get rid of it, I don't think we have magic yet that is tied to the life of a spell, so that if I give you magic, it survives until the spell is dispelled. And I need to think about how I'm going to implement that. I'm not sure how we're going to do that. Let's do that. Let's end the show. I'll give that some thought. We'll come back next Tuesday and pick this up. Let me get a raid going right now. Shouldn't be the Puff and Smoke be over you, or is that just a general effect? Cody Grohl, it should be over me. I totally agree with that. But right now it's just a general effect that goes over the player, because we don't really have. We're just now starting to introduce this idea of targeting and kind of promoting it to a first-class citizen in the rules, in the D&D rules that we're building. So that's kind of where we are. I'm going to send you over to Tyler on Heart, and let's just see what he's doing.
So we've got events and notifications now. It does seem like.
All right, I'll send you over there, kids. See you next week. Do this tomorrow. We're going to be back with Kids Code, and we're going to work on a Sudoku solution. See you then.